transformative initiative dedicated to empowering individuals through the principles of sustainable One Health. This program recognizes the deep interconnectedness of animal, environmental, and human health, affirming that a holistic approach is key to well-being. Our program is designed to equip individuals with essential health knowledge, enabling them to become custodians of their own well-being. Through our hybrid Learn-to-Earn sessions, conducted both virtually via Google Meet and at physical locations, we engage participants from diverse backgrounds. These weekly sessions serve as dynamic platforms for learning, discussion, and collaboration. We focus on the co-creation of knowledge through the Learn One, Do One, Teach One approach. This method ensures that each participant not only learns valuable health information, but also applies it and teaches it to others, fostering a ripple effect of empowerment and education. By participating in the Actuate Health Access Program, individuals gain the tools and knowledge needed to improve their health and the health of their communities. Our goal is to create a network of informed and proactive health custodians who can address health challenges in a sustainable and impactful way. Join us in this journey towards better health for all. Together, we can make a difference. Welcome to the Actuate Health Access Faucet, a transformative initiative dedicated to empowering individuals through the principles of sustainable One Health. This program recognizes the deep interconnectedness of animal, environmental, and human health, affirming that a holistic approach is key to well-being. Our program is designed to equip individuals with essential health knowledge, enabling them to become custodians of their own well-being. Through our hybrid Learn-to-Earn sessions, conducted both virtually via Google Meet and at physical locations, we engage participants from diverse backgrounds. These weekly sessions serve as dynamic platforms for learning, discussion, and collaboration. We focus on the co-creation of knowledge through the Learn One, Do One, Teach One approach. This method ensures that each participant not only learns valuable health information, but also applies it and teaches it to others, fostering a ripple effect of empowerment and education. By participating in the Actuate Health Access Program, individuals gain the tools and knowledge needed to improve their health, the health of their communities. Our goal is to help custodians who can address health challenges in a sustainable and impactful way. Join us in this journey towards better health for all. Together, we can make a difference. Welcome to the Actuate Health Access Faucet, a transformative initiative dedicated to empowering individuals through the principles of sustainable One Health. This program recognizes the deep interconnectedness of animal, environmental, and human health, affirming that a holistic approach is key to well-being. Our program is designed to equip individuals with essential health knowledge, enabling them to become custodians of their own well-being. Through our hybrid Learn-to-Earn sessions, conducted both virtually via Google Meet and at physical locations, we engage participants from diverse backgrounds. These weekly sessions serve as dynamic platforms for learning, discussion, and collaboration. We focus on the co-creation of knowledge through the Learn One, Do One, Teach One approach. This method ensures that each participant not only learns valuable health information, but also applies it and teaches it to others, fostering a ripple effect of empowerment and education. By participating in the Actuate Health Access Program, individuals gain the tools and knowledge needed to improve their health and the health is better health for all. Together, we can make a difference. Welcome to the Actuate Health Access Faucet, a transformative initiative dedicated to empowering individuals through the principles of sustainable One Health. This program recognizes the deep interconnectedness of animal, environmental, and human health, affirming that a holistic approach is key to well-being. Our program is designed to equip individuals with essential health knowledge, enabling them to become custodians of their own well-being. Through our hybrid Learn-to-Earn sessions, conducted both virtually via Google Meet and at physical locations, we engage participants from diverse backgrounds. These weekly sessions serve as dynamic platforms for learning, discussion, and collaboration. We focus on the co-creation of knowledge through the Learn One, Do One, Teach One approach. This method ensures that each participant not only learns valuable health information, but also applies it and teaches it to others, fostering a ripple effect of empowerment and education. By participating
Hello, Glory. Let's start.
Hello, good evening. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. You're muted now.
Sorry. Good evening, everyone. I hope it's a good evening for everyone. Welcome to our today's session. We are still continuing in our exploration of quadratic funding on maternal and child health. And today we are focusing on its application in one of the components of maternal and child health, that is the postnatal care. So in our previous classes, we learned how quadratic funding can enhance prenatal care, labor and delivery services. So first of all, before we start, I will define what is postnatal care. Postnatal care is it's the services, it is the care, or rather care provided to the mother and a newborn immediately after childbirth, and it extends through the first 6 weeks following delivery. This period is so crucial to ensure the well-being of the mother, to ensure that she recovers from the childbirth and adapts to the new life circumstances, and also the well-being of the baby. It is important. It is so crucial, the prenatal care, so as to prevent the maternal deaths, and also to ensure the well-being of the newborn babies, and of course to reduce the posts. It is also important to reduce the postpartum depression that's associated with the childbirth. So before we start our discussion, I will take you through the meeting agenda first. So the topic is, as I have said, it is the quadratic funding in postnatal care. We will get the topic presentation from our topic master, Lillian Minor. Yes, Lillian Minor. After that, we will have privilege to hear further remarks from our CEO, Dr. Macharia Warwinge. And then we will have an interactive session. You can ask questions, you can share insight, you can comment. Yeah, I encourage you to let it be an interactive session, okay? And then after that, we will have to hear the Actuate Pre-Boston Nairobi Summit announcement from Diana Monde, and then I will conclude the meeting. So at this moment, allow me to welcome our topic master, Lillian Minor. Lillian, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you well. You can confirm if you can hear me on my end.
Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Glory, for the chance. So today's topic is application of quadratic funding in postnatal care. And I'll start my presentation by defining quadratic funding. And quadratic funding is a democratic funding mechanism designed to promote equitable contributions. It matches funds based on the number of contributors and the amount contributed. It emphasizes smaller contributions to promote broader participation. What is postnatal care? Postnatal care, as Gloria has said, is care provided to the mother and the newborn immediately after childbirth. and it includes medical, emotional, and social support. It is given it is in this critical period of the first 6 weeks after childbirth. Components of postnatal care, we have one, monitoring the health of the mother and the baby. Two, counseling on breastfeeding and nutrition. Three is providing information on family planning. Four, we have supporting mental health and addressing postpartum depression. And five is ensuring vaccination and regular checkups for the newborn. So what are the importance of postnatal care? And one of the significance of postnatal care is one that it reduces maternal and infant mortality rates. It is through early detection and treatment of complications. Another importance of postnatal care is that it promotes physical and emotional health. In this is through proper care and support for recovery and bonding. Three, it supports breastfeeding and nutrition. And in this, we see that guidance and support is given to the mother. Five, another importance of postnatal care is that it facilitates family planning, and in this is through information and services to manage future pregnancy, which is given to the mother. Also, it encourages positive parenting in this is through counseling and education on newborn care and development. And World Health Organization did a statistic or a research where it had a result that effective postnatal care can reduce neonatal death by up to 50%. What are the current challenges in postnatal care? And we have limited access to quality healthcare facilities. And in this is that in rural and low-income areas often lack adequate services. Another challenge is lack of trained healthcare providers. And in this we see that there is shortage of skilled midwives and nurses. The third challenge is financial constraints for families. And we can see that there is high cost of medical care and lack of insurance coverage. Another challenge is inadequate follow-up and support system. We see that there is poor continuity of care after hospital discharge. And the last challenge is cultural barriers and misinformation. It is through traditional beliefs and lack of accurate information which hinder proper care. An example we see in many parts of sub-Saharan Africa, distance to healthcare facilities and cost are major barriers. Cultural practices in some communities discourages seeking professional postnatal care. Traditional funding models. And traditional funding models, we have government funding, and in this it relies on public budget, often limited and influenced by political priorities. We have charitable donation, and we see this inconsistent and limited in scope, dependent on donor generosity. We have private insurance, and we see that there is limited accessibility and coverage, often excludes low-income families. The need of quadratic funding in postnatal care. Why quadratic funding in postnatal care? And one of the needs is that it promotes broader participation and community engagement. And in this, it encourages small contributions from many individuals. The second one is more equitable distribution and resources. It is through matching funds which amplify the impact of grassroots donation. It enhances transparency and accountability. And in this, we see that there is open and democratic processes which ensures funds are used effectively. And the last one is that it addresses the funding gaps in undeserved areas. And it is through direct resources to where they are most needed. An example is in this, we see a local health initiative uses quadratic funding to raise money for training midwives, which each small donation being matched to enhance community involvement. Application of quadratic funding in postnatal care. Implementation. We have community-driven funding campaigns where local community can raise funds for specific postnatal care projects. We have matching funds from larger donors and institutions, and this is that it amplifies the impact of individual contribution. We have another application of quadratic funding in postnatal care is through crowdfunding platforms tailored to maternal and child health, and it is done through online platforms which enhance broader participation. The last one is collaboration with local health organizations and NGOs, and it is through partnering with established organizations to implement and manage projects. As I conclude my presentation, quadratic funding offers a novel solution to traditional funding limitations in postnatal care. It promotes equity, community involvement, and sustainable funding. It has the potential to significantly enhance postnatal care by addressing funding gaps and ensuring resources reach those in need. So thank you for listening. That's the end of my presentation. In case of a question, feel free to ask. Back to you, Gloria.
Wow. Thank you, Lillian, for that powerful presentation. It's sad that our African women do not afford this critical care. Yeah, they do not afford access to quality health services, despite the postnatal care being so vital, as you have learned from Lillian. Yeah, it prevents deaths to both the mother and the child, and many other benefits that we've learned. And this is because our women are poor. They don't access quality health services due to their economic status, because the traditional funding model only favors those with higher incomes. So the more we engage in this conversation, the more we learn how quadratic funding is really important, because it's all inclusive, regardless of your economic status. Yeah, it ensures that everyone now will have access to quality healthcare. So thank you once again, Lillian. Those that have questions, you can direct them to the chat box. We will address them later. So now allow me to welcome Dr. Masharia, our CEO, to give additional comments about the topic. Dr. welcome.
Thank you, Gloria. Am I audible? Can you hear me? No?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, thank you. All right. Wow. Thank you so much, Lillian. And thank you, Gloria, for presiding over this meeting. Thank you very much, Lillian, and for giving us the giving us a story about prenatal, postnatal care. And these are very, you would say, frightening statistics. We have heard from Lillian that if we had full funding for in the postnatal period, you would save 50% of the newborns. Can you believe that? That's what the World Health Organization saying that. They're not lying. This data is not made up. Such that babies, right after they are born, it's called the neonates. Neonates have got the hardest time in survival in this planet. They've just been born. They have to learn how to breathe, even to drink milk. They have, even before they can even eat food. So, and they even have to learn how to control their body temperature, because before that, they were happy. They were in utero, they were in the womb where all the temperature was stable. And say they were not subject to the vagaries of the climate. So the baby is born, he is a neonate, cannot control his or her own body temperature. Even breathing is a problem, circulation. So that new person, neonate, requires a lot of attention from the mother. And then the mother herself, who is now called postnatal. Now listen to this terminology. The baby is called neonatal or neonate. The mother is postnatal. So there are two people, the neonate and the postnatal mother. So the postnatal mother has a whole bunch of emotions coming. They are riding like ocean waves in a storm, because the new mother is confused. There's so many things going on, and she's anxious that this baby is so fragile. This baby looks like, it can pass away in a minute, because it's new and because the baby is not adapted to the climate. So mothers get very, very worried about the baby, and because of that, they get emotionally drained. Let alone the fact that they have been pregnant, the mother has been pregnant for a whole 9 months, so she's very tired. Then you add her a new job of worrying about the newborn here, who doesn't look like he's gonna survive another day. And so babies at that time, they look very susceptible. And sure enough, many of them die, about 50% of them. Did you know that if we took care of all that, the Kenyan population would be double in a year? Twice as many people would be surviving. And remember, when you were talking about prenatal care, we had another alarming statistic that about 500,000 people, more than 500,000 people die every year because of pregnancy. That means the mother and the baby. Because when the mother dies, that's called maternal mortality. Maternal mortality, not only does it claim the life of the mother, it also claims the baby in utero. So those are two people dying. Now, those who manage to bring babies to term and through labor and delivery without dying, we saw that labor and delivery is also high risk. If we don't have resources and facilities, it's also a risk to people who are outside, this case marginalized, in economic marginalization. So then a lot of women will die during labor if the high-risk pregnancy is not detected early enough. And so then after that, those who did not die, they eventually deliver a baby, but this baby has only 50% likelihood of survival for the first 6 weeks. 6 weeks is a neonatal period. That means 1.5 months. That 1.5 months is the most dangerous period for us human beings. If you survive that time, then we're talking about when you're in remote locations, in villages, you survive that time, maybe you might do the rest of the months for the year. But even 1 year, babies under 1 year are still at very, very high risk. Because of all these ominous numbers, there is so much loss of life, so much death. And of course, that is very distressful to the mother if the baby dies because of all these things that are likely to happen. So many things can go wrong for a small baby. Besides some acute things like just bleeding that's not stopping, or infection, acute infection right after birth, or by viruses, so many things, bacteria. So if the delivery was not very sanitary, so things go wrong, and then some babies are born with certain problems that they cannot digest food properly, they cannot digest the milk, all that stuff, and of course even breathing. So many things go wrong in that first few days of life, and that first few days, of course, it's a period of joy, but also a period of extreme anxiety, particularly to the mother. And see, many women get what people call postnatal blues. Postnatal blues, it's actually even can get worse, become postnatal depression. Because first of all, the mother would think that she's not doing enough for the baby, and she can stress herself so much. That is why the mother needs not only medical support, to take care of anything that can be happening to her, whether it's infections, or even to prevent infections from in her birth canal, and then to take care of her emotionally. She needs emotional support. She needs a lot of counseling. A lot of new mothers do not know what to do with the baby. When the baby is born, breastfeeding, it's a new science already. How do you do it? Even holding the baby properly, because that time the neck muscles are not strong enough. So when you hold the baby, just flips, the head flips backwards. Even much less sophisticated things, like how do you wrap your baby nicely for warmth? So there is a lot of learning to do. You could say it's as if somebody has been put in a PhD program of baby care in an instant. For the first 1 week, 2 weeks, so much to learn, because the baby is like this teacher who comes and give you very difficult exam to pass. And that exam that is being subject to the mother is a life and death exam. If you do things wrong, your baby will go away, will pass away. If you do things right, the baby will live. So that's what a big cause of anxiety for women. So woman at that time, the mother, the postnatal mother, needs a lot of support from, say, midwives people. If she is alone or she has delivered the baby at home, that kind of support is not easy to afford, to assemble. And then, or even if she delivers the baby by herself alone, there's a lot of women who come to help in the community, but they may not have the necessary treatments or technologies to help her, deal with any incidental medical problems. So even if there is, social support, which is very important for the mother, there's still a huge, wide open window that can usher in catastrophic event to the baby and the mother herself. So it is, I will say it's a miracle that we survived. Yeah, those of us who have survived through that stage, because that stage is extremely dangerous for all of us, risky, high risk, that we went through that stage without having access to medical care is pure miracle. Yes. So you would see, if all that, if we had full access to medical care, that all babies survive, then the population that you're seeing today would be much, much larger. So I think the African population would be, right now we say in Africa about 1 billion people. Africa would be having about 3 billion people by now if we did not have the postnatal problems that we have. But what is this? What is the source of all that problem? Because you're talking about very high incidence of newborn death, the death of newborns, which is called neonatal death. very, very high incidence. Now, in the previous administrations in Kenya, when Margaret Kenyatta was there, she introduced the Beyond Zero campaign to help raise money for these newborn babies and the pregnant women. But that did not survive. But then Secretary Intention, they created Linda Mama program, which was funded through the national government, being distributing funds to the county. See, that's one source of funding for this. But the new president, known as Zakayo in his new name, he deleted that program. See, so the Linda Mama program that was there to protect Linda Mama, of course, for those who do not know Swahili, Linda is protect the mother, but protect the mother so that she can take care of the newborn. So in his wicked wisdom, our president and his administration have eradicated the Linda Mama program. So women don't have access anymore. And what are the other opportunities? Maybe they can raise money from charity, from Harambee, even well-wishers. But that kind of funding is inconsistent. And so then how else do they raise money to overcome this huge problem? Can you imagine that we losing population like that? Because these babies are really not have survived in the planet. We that loss is not experienced at a national level. Almost, you could say, nationally, people are indifferent to that. But the family, even the woman herself, she's not indifferent to the loss of her baby. But when it comes to higher levels, people become indifferent to the loss of life of neonates. So another way people have tried to do this is private insurance, private health insurance. Private health insurance. Now, private health insurance in Kenya or in Africa or anywhere in the world, it presupposes that people have got a job, that somebody is employed, regular employed, earning a regular salary, so that that person can be paying premiums, insurance premiums every month. And I tell you what, most insurance companies do not want to provide insurance for childbirth, let's say for the whole pregnancy, childbirth, and all that. Why do they not want to do that? Because it's very high risk to them. It's not profitable. So if you talk to a lot of people who sell insurance or who provide health insurance, they will say postnatal care or postnatal insurance is loss-making business. You see, why is it loss-making? One is because it involves women. That time, for example, the mother herself has been out of work for a long period during that year when she was pregnant. So she wasn't working, so she was not providing what? She was not paying premiums. And these insurance companies make profit when people pay premium. And so if the woman doesn't have another source of revenue, then she's not paying premium throughout the year, or maybe when she's pregnant. And yeah, and of course, if now she has to deliver a baby in a hospital, then the hospitals, you can never predict what is going to happen to the birthing process. Maybe you should go there, get a cesarean section, which becomes very expensive for the insurance. And then there's going to be some other medical charges. So the bills are very, very high. And the insurance companies literally say, oh my goodness, we don't want to insure this type of thing. So they will those insurance companies will willingly sell what's called indemnity insurance. Indemnity is insure everything else, including your household furniture, but they will not insure this very crucial part of life because it is high risk. Because the insurance company cannot figure out how to make money, how to make a profit. how to make a profit. How to make a profit from saving human lives. Yeah. It's a disgusting idea even to think about it. But you see, all insurance companies are for-profit companies. So they're for profits. They want to make profits. But you see, the story is not so green. Fortunately, today, we have the blockchain money. We have blockchain finance, which now that risk of funding from the insurance company, they don't have to worry about it anymore. Even they don't even need to be there, those insurance. So when you get this quadratic funding working very well, quadratic funding, because quadratic funding, people receive tokens, and those tokens will continue making money in the market, irrespective of how much it costs to take care of the prenatal period, the labor and delivery, and the postnatal period. So money becomes available. And why is it possible? It's going to be very beautiful. That's why we want to work very hard and make sure that we're able to implement this program. Remember, we implement quadratic funding. We're going to be saving more than 50% of the newborns every year. Well, some of the old politicians from the old school of economics would say, we don't want so many people. We don't want so many people here. Why? Because when all those people come around, they're going to eat all the food, and then there won't be food left for those people who are already here. That's why really they don't talk about the newborn, the neonatal death, because at least they won't become individuals who are going to finish all the food. You see, I'm talking about a theory known as limits to growth. If you have population explosion, like if Africans were so many, like now they are 3 billion, then there wouldn't be enough resources for the people who think they own the resources. There wouldn't be enough resources for them to come and steal. Yeah, for everyone, because there'll be too many people. But you see, that's a fallacy. There's never too many people on the planet. The resources, this planet has got so many resources, we can never finish them, even if we became 20 billion. Okay? Because the resources that are there in the planet will not get finished whatsoever. That's a discussion of another day, and I think we can discuss that in our environmental health program. Environment. This environment is rich enough to support all the people living on that in the planet. So the reason people say that there won't be enough for them to eat, because they're just selfish people. So anyway, what I'm saying is that with quadratic funding and retroactive public funding, then the resources become available. And this is now when remember, we have talked about this as the new economics, which has taken a complete departure from the old economics. Old economics, and I would like to emphasize this very much so that you all understand why it will be possible in the new economics to finance what was not financeable before. Decentralized financing. Okay? This decentralized financing, and I want to say this so that so everybody understands, decentralized finance is underpinned by a new theory of mathematics. It's not really new. It came around in 1948, known as the mathematic theory of communication. This mathematic theory of communication is very, very different from the traditional mathematic theory of economics, which was what? Arithmetic and algebra. Okay, that's old math. That old math was constricted, limited in its ability, because it was reductionists. Reductionist means that you minimize things so that you can understand them. So it was centralized, coming from central banks. That's called reductionism. Now, on the complete opposite of that mathematics, the mathematic theory of communication, which is the mathematics of information, which is the information science. It is not constricted. Instead of it being constricted, it is open, such that, and decentralized, such instead of being coming through the central banks, becomes decentralized. Decentralized means that every individual has got the ability to participate in financing. Every individual. So if long time ago, I mean, let's say the traditional economy, when you're talking about charity coming from one benevolent individual, then with quadratic funding on the decentralized finance, the contributions do not come from one individual, but it comes from all individuals, everybody participating. If, for example, you wanted to raise 1 million people, 1 million shillings, and only one person donate 1 million shillings, then you can have 1 million people, each contributing 1 shilling. See, each contributing 1 shilling. Now that is the power, that you can raise 1 million shillings by having 1 million people each contributing 1 shilling. Or you can try to get 1 million shillings from one person, which is better. So when you have 1 million people each contributing 1 shilling, then money begins to come, because 1 million people will not just have 1 shilling, they have more than 1 shilling. They'll have maybe 10,000 shillings, even 20 shillings, a lot more. So then quadratic funding is that those people who have a lot of money, they can contribute much more depending on the number of people who have contributed. So quadratic funding makes it possible for us to contribute money, to mobilize a lot of people to contribute money. And the greater the number of people who are contributing money, the greater the funding becomes available for the project. And because you can see neonatal care, or care for funding for neonate is a large scale project. Scale involves a lot of people, a lot of children being born. Then we want to make sure with the new economy it becomes possible to get participation of all those individuals, so that they can, every individual, particularly the mother and the father and the family, and say the communities, participate in financing, the financing prenatal care. So that's what I would like to add. So, and what you're going to do going down over the fourth quarter of this month, of this year, the fourth quarter down the road, we're going to build that platform for quadratic funding, so that people can begin to experience it. And I can tell you, 2025 is going to be a very fascinating year, because that is when, now after everybody has understood these lessons, we are doing them so that you can understand the theory, to increase your curiosity. It's like we are announcing continuously, such that by the time this platform become ready, then you'll be knowing what to do. Okay, so you could say at the granular level, at the ground, it's not complicated, because all this is happening on your phone. Just as the way we use the wallet, it will be happening inside your wallet. Inside your wallet. If you have a trust wallet, the same way you go to PancakeSwap and swap your tokens, or maybe build liquidity pool, is precisely the same way. So that within your wallet, you'll be able to participate in quadratic funding. And that's what's going to be very, very beautiful. Well, there's a lot of work to be done to get to that point, because it means building the platform. And of course, you're working this together as you're producing the summit at the end of the year. But when this gets done, it's going to be very, very beautiful. Again, the final thing I'll tell you, this decentralized finance is the second step from decentralized information system, or decentralized web, which has which has powered the Gen Z today in Kenya. So it would not, the Gen Z would not have managed to do the work that they have done to bring Zakayo down from his tax, his high tree of taxes. So he descended down and withdrew that tax bill. That's a finance bill. He would not have done that were it not for Web 2. Okay. So you want to see the power of Web 2, what it is able to do. And as I said the other day, people are calling it leaderless. It's not leaderless. It is distributed leadership or decentralized leadership. The leadership is decentralized. It has come from one central leader who is known as Zakayo to decentralized leadership that any individual is sovereign and can contribute to the leadership decisions. So what's happening next, what you're talking about here in the quadratic funding, people shall not need to wait for government funding for allocation or leader mama, that every individual is a leader mama. So you become leader mama yourself by participating. So that's not a fund that's coming from a central government. It's decentralized funding through the quadratic funding mechanism. That's going to be very, very beautiful. Well, we just ask all the citizens of Actuate Nation to be very, very patient and look out as we're building these platforms. So by the time we are ready, you will be able to spring on board. And guess what? What makes it extremely, extremely, extremely pleasing for you is that, first of all, it will mean buying tokens, like actual tokens. And when the program goes live, those tokens will start gaining value. When they gain value, you make money, you make a profit. Now that is what I'm saying is a big overthrow of the traditional insurance program, because the insurance companies do not consider the stage of neonatal, insuring neonatal or say labor and delivery. They don't consider it profitable. They actually say it's a loss-making business. Loss-making business. But now when you have quadratic funding, when your tokens are pricing value, there's no loss there. So it is a profit-making business when you're doing good. Profit-making business when you're investing in impact. It's called impact investing. You could say impact investing, the extreme hard way, extreme impact investing. And so people are going to be making profits when they are contributing to public good. And that's going to be beautiful. So I don't believe that says as we go on by the time we're coming to December, the time of the summit, these things will be already running and people will be able to participate in this type of platform. But today, this is why you want to make sure that you understand the details of how these things work so well, so that you will be teaching people in the community so that we are not cheated anymore by the centralized people like Zakayo, who like to sell fear to people, because there'll be nothing to be afraid about anymore from such people. All right, thank you so much. Back to you, Glory.
Thank you, Daktari. Thank you, Daktari, for those educative remarks. Yeah, it's true. It's through this innovative funding model. It's only through this innovative funding model that we can eliminate the disparities in health access. Yeah, we can eliminate the economic, or rather the income level, as a determinant of health. Your level of income should not be a determinant to your health status. Yeah. So I will welcome questions, comments, yeah, or anything you have to say about the topic, what you think should be done moving forward. So you can raise your hand to speak, or you can just type your question on the chat box. After the question and answer session, we will have summit announcement from Diana. So I welcome any question or comment about this topic.
Okay. Hello. Hello.
Hello. Yes, go ahead.
Yes, sorry. I have a question about the quadratic funding in a postnatal care. So I have a question. How do we apply this quadratic funding in a postnatal care in your community?
How do we apply application of it? Now the application is first what well, thank you so much, Damien, for the question. Is that first we have to raise the money. So quadratic funding, as we have discussed before, has got two sides. One is the side of raising the money, the other side is for the allocation of the money.
Sir.
So one side is capital acquisition, the other side is capital allocation. So in capital acquisition, for example, if you're in a community, and say a community usually would be like what in Kenya we call them wards, like these are sub-county that if you're in a community and a community, you see a ward has got about 10,000 people.
Ni shingapi ya ku nani
Oh, now you see that we are getting your secrets, Mr. So if you've got a community, say like a local community, a local ward, a ward has got about 10,000 people. The first thing is to build that community of about 10,000 people, but that means spreading the word among the people, so that all those people in the ward, each one of them is contribute. We tell them they need to contribute money to build what? To build this funding a maternity theater and maternity place, local maternity. Maybe there's a health center. So you would say that ward, the local maternity theater would have a catchment area. That's what you usually say in medicine, catchment area that has got about 10,000 people. So those people are serviced by one particular health center. And that health center wants to implement a new maternity ward with neonatal nurseries, a nursery for neonates, so that it can have maybe incubators for the newborn babies. So it has some equipment, let's say equipment for the neonates, a neonatal unit. So building a neonatal unit is expensive. And that neonatal unit becomes a transition place where after the mothers give birth to the baby, in the labor and delivery, they would go they go now into the neonatal section. And then after that, they can be discharged home. And so you see that kind of program is within the labor and delivery unit. which is, I mean, which will be funded together, because it's not usually necessary to just have a neonatal unit without labor and delivery. It doesn't make sense. So what the first thing to do is to find out how much would it cost to build such a place in the local community, serving 10,000 people. Mhm. So you come up with the budget, the money required. So you come up with the finance requirement, that is the total capital outlay. How much money do we need to build such a unit to serve 10,000 people in the catchment area? Because those people are already there. The traditional way of financing then, the local leaders now would submit such budgets to the government and ask for funding. Instead of submitting, or maybe they would submit the funding to a grant organization to provide grants. Instead of doing that, instead of submitting the budget to a local government or some national government or some outsider, the people themselves can decide if there's 10,000 people, and usually about a place like that's very well done, is about $1 million. $1 million. $1 million shillings, not dollars. Kenyan shillings, by the way, not Tanzania shillings. I don't know how these. So 1 million Kenyan shilling would build a very, very beautiful, full, like fully equipped center that can for prenatal care, labor and delivery, and postnatal care, all of them. Mhm. And then we would also need to raise money for what? For human resource. That 1 million shillings is enough even to buy the equipment. Like, because it's not a high tech, because labor is not really high tech. A mother who is well fed, she can deliver the baby, but then it's not supremely high tech, but it's manageable. 1 million shillings. And that 1 million shillings includes money for recruiting human resource to run the place for at least 1 year, but then it's still going to need more every year for its lifetime, for what you call maintenance financing. That's like working capital. So you see now, if you say you need to raise 1 million for the construction, and then you may need another 1 million for working capital for the next 5 years, then you're talking about raising 2 million. Let's say that's the money, the total money you need, total capital that you need to get started. And you're in a community of 10,000 people. If each one contributed 1 shilling, you have 10,000 shillings. What if each one contributed 100 shillings? Each one of the 10,000 people, you have to make sure that you get the 10,000 people contributing that. 10,000, which means that we mobilize the community. 10,000 each contributes. To contribute 1 million, that would be only about 100 shillings per person. You see? Then, when that money is contributed that way, you see, we're going to need 100 shillings per person. And because mobilizing 10,000 people is not easy, you need to be a big politician. You can now shortcut that process through the quadratic funding mechanism. By doing saying that we need 2 million shillings, that would mean that 200 shillings from each person. But then you say, supposing we mobilize 1,000 people, each contributing 200 shillings, that's going to give us how many? 200 plus times 1,000, that's 200,000. Okay, that is like 10%. That's like 10% of the total capital required. Then, if you're on the blockchain, you can say we need quadratic funding, that the rest of the money, which would be about 1.8 million shillings, can be contributed by the larger community using that quadratic funding mathematics. Because you can say that the square root of 1,000 people who have made contribution squared is what is going to come from the rest from the say like the cryptocurrency community in the world. See? And see, for example, now if you're talking about cryptocurrency community, that's a lot of people. So it becomes very light. And so you would convince people in the world, if we mobilize now, this is your example, Monsieur Damien. I say, I'm going to mobilize 1,000 people in my community, each one contributing 200 shillings. Then will you give me the balance? See, that's quadratic funding. That is what called matching funds. Will you give me the matching fund? So the matching fund is calculated using that quadratic equation. And if on average here, I'm not calculating anything, I'm just assuming that if you get 1,000 people contributing 200 shillings, you're gonna get 200,000. So what's remaining is about 1,800,000, and the people in the cryptocurrency industry or the blockchain, if they're in the network, if you announce in the Ethereum network, they will, and tell them this is for building a health center in my community, they will do that. How are they going to do that? Those people are going to buy Actuate tokens. Meanwhile, 1.82 million Actuate tokens are allocated. See, 2 million Actuate tokens are allocated to that project. And so when 2 million Actuate tokens are allocated to that project, people just need to buy them, those tokens, and the tokens are going to become live to provide the capital required. People will buy them in the Ethereum community. So it requires a marketing process that we have to tell the people in the Ethereum community, or maybe let's say the Actuate community has grown. Even the diaspora, everybody will tell them, listen, this project needs only this amount of money, just buy these tokens. So when people are buying those tokens, they don't really care about whether the project will make a profit or not, because the tokens by themselves are liquid tokens, and when they buy them, they can now make money with the tokens out there in the market, independent of whether or not the project for building the maternity in the postnatal and prenatal unit makes any money. So the risk of losing money gets removed from the maternity itself, and the risk of making money. So people don't have to worry about whether this project will be profitable. What the insurance companies, they say that this is a loss-making business, that termination gets out of the window. So it's not there anymore. So they cannot make losses by the maternity project not making money, but they can only make losses by the other issues in the marketplace, but not that we are talking about in the exchanges, but not because the maternity. And you see, that is going to provide for construction and building the place, and then we can build such, mobilizing money in a great way. So to give in conclusion, what I would like to say, quadratic funding is what now energizes local people. Local people can contribute 200 shillings, but they cannot produce 2 million shillings. Okay, so the burden of fighting money becomes removed from local people, because in quadratic funding, what quadratic funding it does is to allow people in the world, and people are many. So many people can buy those tokens if you now create a good story, explain to them, a good narrative. And we're talking about the actual tokens allocated to such a project, and these allocator mechanisms. Now, finally, we talk about the allocation of the money itself, which is called governance. How do you allocate that money? How do you govern the allocation of money? Once you've received 2 million shillings, that money goes into the treasury itself. And because it's money that involves a lot of people, you want to make sure that that money is allocated properly so you don't get in trouble with misappropriations. And you see, because blockchain is transparent, people can actually see what you're doing with the money. People, when you're moving it on a blockchain, because it gets reported on either scan. Now, if you had said that you want to buy 6 incubator units for neonates, then buy the 6 incubator units. So it requires, once you have received the money, there must be a small team of people who is overseeing how that money, how that budget is being administered in the community. Okay, and so that we don't open a window for stealing, to make sure the people who are overseeing that work, they're also compensated for their work, and they know they're responsible, so they know their responsibility. Yeah, and that is really, and that see, we also have because the project is observable. Only you can track down what's going on either scan. If people are making mistakes, then people can, if people are misappropriating the money, then people contributed that money because they are also local. A lot of local people, like 1,000 local people participating. They provide a lot of pair of eyes to the project, and then they can vote out. They can vote out the misappropriating people, or they can remove them. The voting process. So because quadratic funding also comes with the voting mechanism, so that because the people have got, they're holding the tokens, meaning that they can vote with their tokens to make key decisions of capital allocation. So how the money is going to get allocated is subject to a voting process. Just like in any government, that usually in governments, except governments are centralized, and usually they get overridden by certain people, is that you have a parliament, and the parliament is the one voting for what projects to receive funding allocation. Now, these parliaments usually a lot of parliaments have got about 100 people, some have 200 members of parliament. But that's a very small group of people compared to quadratic funding. Remember, you have mobilized money from 1,000 people. So each one of those 1,000 people participating, each one of them has got a voting power every time. And the power, some people can do delegated voting, which is not advisable. You want every individual to vote. And when it comes time for voting, people receive notification on their phone. Just like when you get a message on your phone, you get a notification. So if somebody doesn't vote, it's not because that person did not receive notification. Is that the voting process, somebody gets a notification, get up and vote for this budgetary allocation. And then because the people are local, if they say they allocate money to buy incubators, they can go there to find out whether those incubators were purchased, or the people who received the funding to purchase the incubators did not purchase them. So becomes a process that holds people accountable. There's accountability, let's say accountability for the allocation of funds. There's transparency of the movement of funds, because all movement is getting recorded on the blockchain. You can see it on the Etherscan. And there is equal participation for everyone, decentralized participation. Of course, there's large-scale voting. Anyone who has participated in the project has got a right to vote and can vote and will vote, except if that person decides not to vote. Because, for example, you can receive text messages in your phone, but you decide not to read all of them. Now that is your choice, but it's not because. And so that is, I would say, how you would implement quadratic funding in your local community. So again, in summary, first is to have an idea of the project you want to fund using quadratic funding. This is postnatal care. We are building a maternity unit, a hospital that's got a maternity place that can help to deliver babies. So number two, come up with a budget. Find out how much money do we need for that project. And with the budget breakdowns, what things are you going to need to buy with that? And remember, there are two budgets. There's the initial budget for building up the place, and there's a second amount of money for running the place. One problem that people do is that they raise money for putting up the building and buying the equipment, but they don't raise the money for running the place. That is supremely dangerous, and we see it all the time in all projects. People raise money for the building, but they don't raise money for running running the building, running the business. So that's a huge advantage in missing the point. If you raise money for buying something, like say you raise money to buy a car, and then you don't raise money for the fuel for that car, even for the person to drive that car, then what's the use of the car? It is useless. So from project design, project implementation design, I learned that particularly for healthcare projects, the total amount of money you need to run a business every year is equals to 20%, or about approximately 20% of the capital that you needed to put up the project. In other words, if you put up a maternity center like that, like, a center for women, let's call it Center for Women and Babies, Center for Women and Babies, or maternal child health center. If you needed 1 million shillings to build the maternal health center, you shall be needing 200,000 shillings every year to run that place. Okay. So, and that is in perpetuity, forever, maybe until things become more expensive. That money that you need to run that place is money for the human resource, to employ the nurses, the midwives, the doctors, the hospital ordinaries and orderlies, hospital orderlies, or even lab technicians, to buy reagents and to buy X-ray equipment and to do X-ray films and all that stuff, and to maintain the computers. 200,000. So that is the costs. So 200,000 times 5 is what? Is 1 million. So that's why I said that if you think your project is going to cost you 1 million, no, you raise 2 million. Why? Because you need 5 years, at least 5 years, for that project to break even. To start getting positive results, such that you're not going to be asking for money to maintain it. After that, it becomes self-sustaining, because there's no project that breaks even before 5 years. In other words, for those people who do agriculture, you cannot plant beans and expect them to go and harvest beans in 6 months. Maybe 6 months. I think beans grow very fast, or maybe in 6 weeks. So there is a gestation period for projects to take time to break even. And break even in this case, because it's token economics, the tokens that were distributed into the project, you want them to go into the market and make money, start returning, so that the project can pay itself. Okay. Okay, now that we're getting I think somebody called Faith. So if these tokens are in the market, even then the tokens are not going to make money so that you can be using them to fund continued processes there, or to fund the work, to get the working capital until, say, 5 years down the road. Okay, that's why you want to raise enough money so that you don't keep going back to the market to say, okay, or even you do not want to undercapitalize. See, another undercapitalization means that you did not raise enough money from the world, or you hadn't thought about the working capital. So if you look around the country, like places everywhere, people, they only understand how much money is it going to cost to put up the building, and then after that, they haven't even worked out how much money will it take to pay the doctors, to pay the nurses, to pay the midwives, to pay for the reagents, the consumables, what's called working capital. It's usually not in the equation, and that's supremely dangerous. But even if it's so dangerous, people do it all the time. That almost all projects come without capital budget, working capital budget, and really, so yeah, that's the long answer about how you do the community projects quadratic funding. Okay. All right. Thank you, Damien.
Thank you, Doctor.
Yes. Okay. So, well, back to you, Glory.
Thank you, Damian, and thank you, Dr. for that explanation. So I hope we all got it. And anyone else with any other question or concern, you can type it through the chat box. And meanwhile, Diana will be presenting. We'll be making the announcements about the Nairobi Pre-Boston Summit. So continue typing your questions. Diana, welcome.
Okay, hello everyone. Thank you so much, Glory. So I'm going to take you through the Nairobi Summit announcement, and I'm going to start by introducing what the summit is all about. So Actuate Pre-Boston Nairobi Summit that is going to take place from 3rd to 6th December at Kenyatta University. And the theme is using blockchain, DeFi, and AI to improve health and human development. And the purpose of the summit is to gather stakeholders of blockchain, DeFi, AI, health and human development in Africa to discuss how blockchain, DeFi, and AI produce health and human development. So the reason why you should attend, you'll get the platform to network, collaborate, and even explore. You'll also learn about the Boston Premier Summit that will be held on July 2025 in Boston. You'll also learn about Actuate initiative, the critical forces, and you can come in different categories. Number one, you can come as an attendee, where you can go to our website, actuate.bio, and register as an attendee. There's a certain fee that you'll be required to pay. And if you get to come as an attendee, you'll gain a lot of benefit where you'll be able to discover innovative solutions. You'll also be able to network with like-minded individuals. And you'll also be part of the conversation where you'll participate in interactive sessions, workshop, and also discussion to explore the possibilities and navigate the future landscape. And also remember, this conference is your opportunity to gain a deeper understanding. You'll also explore the potential for these technologies to empower individuals. You'll also network and collaborate. And so you need to register. There's a certain fee that you'll get to pay. Another part is that you can attend the summit as an exhibitor, where you can go to our website also and register as an exhibitor, where the exhibitor booth pays $1,000. The details are there where you will pay your fee. Then the reason why you should exhibit is that you'll reach a targeted audience. You'll also gain industry exposure. You'll also network with key decision makers, and you'll also generate qualified leads. And the benefit that you'll get for you being an exhibitor is that you'll have a prime booth location where you'll secure a prominent space on the conference floor to showcase your products and services. Another benefit is that you will have also opportunity to network, and also you'll benefit from the conference extensive marketing reach. And remember, so book a booth where you need to pay $1,000. You can look for those exhibitors. So another forum, you can come as a speaker. So you can go to our website, actuate.bio, and click that that link where you'll come as a speaker. So the first speaker, if you go to our website, in speakers list, the first person, we have Dr. Michael Magoa, who is a neurological surgeon. He'll be attending the summit. And the next person is Professor David Ndetei. There's Brian Koyundi. There are a lot of speakers. So if you still want to register as a speaker, you can go to our website, register as a speaker, and be part of the conversation. Another form is that you can also come as a sponsor, or you can bring in a sponsor. And remember, if you bring in a sponsor, you'll get to receive the 5% commission. So yeah, you go look for the sponsors, and the sponsor will go and click that site for sponsor to register as a sponsor. And we have a diamond sponsor who pays $10,000. We have a platinum sponsor who pays $7,500. Then we have a gold sponsor who pays $5,000. And we have a silver sponsor who pays $3,000. Then a bronze sponsor who pays $1,000. And also, above all, we have a title sponsor who pays $100,000 to attend the summit as a sponsor. And there'll be benefit, sponsorship opportunities or benefits for both the sponsor, and they will vary. It will depend. The diamond sponsor will have a lot of benefits compared to the bronze sponsor. Yeah, and also we have where you can go and click poster competition. If you go to our website, you click there. The information is there, the guidelines for poster competition, where you need to submit a poster presentation about your innovation on the use of blockchain, decentralized finance, and artificial intelligence in health and human development. Also on your poster, explain how the new technologies of blockchain, DeFi, and AI combine to improve access to healthcare, translation and commercialization of knowledge into products and services that will improve human lives. Also on that poster, you must illustrate why the innovation is of a significant importance to individuals, families, community, and even the nation. So the guidelines are well illustrated there. And remember, the winner for the poster competition will receive grants to commercialize the innovation and also to present their work at the Actuate Summit in Boston coming next year. So this is another opportunity for you to don't give an excuse for you missing the summit. So you can submit your posters to our website. And also right now, we need to work on bringing in sponsor to the summit, because when it comes to the speakers list, we are almost there reaching the target. So right now we need to work on looking for the sponsor and also exhibitor. So let us work together to bring those sponsors to the summit and the exhibitor. That's all I have to say for today, and back to you, Glory.
Thank you, Diana. So Diana has made it clear on how to participate in the summit. Please, let's all purpose to attend. Let's not miss. So thank you everyone for attending. Thank you, Daktari, for making time for this. And thank you to our topic master, Lilian, unless maybe there's any other concern. We are coming to the end of our today's session. So Grace has shared the Google form, the attendance form. The attendance form is filled for issuing of tokens. So I will give you a few minutes to fill the form. The attendance form is on the chat box.
Okay, can you hear me, Glory?
Yes, Dr.
Okay, well, yeah, thank you. Well, thank you. I just wanted to add one thing, which is the usual thing, that this summit's big opportunity for you to shine, to participate. And of course, the initial opportunity is that sponsorship challenge we have right now, still ongoing. Now we have a full list of speakers. Those speakers are very, very many. So, and they are from very many different disciplines. When you have so many people from so many diverse disciplines together, you call that population eclectic. You could say that the list of speakers is eclectic. Eclectic, that is a United Nations. So it's people from all type of discipline. It's a United Nation of disciplines. All right. And of course, not just United Nations of discipline, is people who are coming from different countries. So this is something you do not want to miss. It's gonna be amazing. And so then you want, because as I've explained before, you have access to organizations, companies that can help you fund your way there. That means these people are called sponsors. Talk to them. Don't let them be left behind, because you can see what we are talking about here is something that applies to all of us. It's called health. Health is like energy. See, the way we need energy, we need health. Of course, we need energy to get health, because energy helps us to get food. So health, you could say health, food, energy, they're in the same category of things. These are universals. And if they are universal things like that, every organization you can think about, it should come to the summit. And if it comes, particular organizations that they've got money, they can come to exhibit their work, to showcase. And they're going to be exhibitors booth, because you can see the summit is attracting a lot of people. And usually you calculate the potential attendees to a summit, like you see the number of people who are going to come to the summit. You calculate that based on the number of speakers into the summit. Now, our speakers list is growing towards 80 people, speakers. Now, if each one represents 10%, you can say there's going to be 800 people attending, even if it was only 700. But you see, we had said that there'll be 500 people attending. But we keep, by our estimation today, if we work with the number of speakers, we are likely to get 800 people. That's a projection. 800 people in the physical place. And that's a very huge market for anyone who wants to showcase their products to people. Because you put a product in front of 800 people, what is the likelihood that some of those people are going to take your product, and you have a market, persistent market for your product? Okay? So that's the language. So it's not just a list of speakers. We have a list of speakers which is an indication of the potential number of people to attend the summit. Okay? So this is gonna be if we keep doing this, by the time we're coming to the another month, you could now amplify that number to maybe 1,000 attendees, physical attendees. So the only thing that can destroy that is unstable government in Kenya. But I think we are going to be over that very soon, whatever is going on. But from the present projections, based on the number of speakers that who have agreed to come and speak, there will be more than 800 people in attendance. And that number can only go up. So if everybody, and I would just want to thank everybody, every one of you for all that hard work. And if we keep that hard work by December, the summit may attract 2,000 people. Now, if there's 2,000 people coming to KU, that will be a big party. See, that can only happen if we get how many people? What's the total number of speakers to get 2,000? 200 speakers. We don't have, we have 200. That's a supreme ambition, but it is not impossible when you're talking about very, very, very new technologies that are very exciting, that people would like to learn about. And the more the merrier, the more people we get. That's really why we want to have a stable political environment, so that people don't feel unsafe coming to the country. Yeah, because we want to mobilize people in a very, eventually, if you look at the total population of KU, the people in KU alone, KU has got about 30,000 people. So even if you bring another 2,000 people, that's not a big deal to the university itself. Yes, but that's a big deal for a summit. For a summit to have 2,000 people, that's a lot. Yeah. So in any case, that is what, but then you are at the center of it. You are at the epicenter. Epicenter. Epicenter, means that you're there both feet. Don't stay in the periphery, because the only person who can put you in the periphery is yourself. So you start treating yourself as an outsider. You are an insider because you have got the first right of refusal to be in. That refusal would be if you are not willing to make a poster, because a poster will give you a ticket to get in. Okay. Not only do you get in there, the center, it also gives you a ticket to go where? To Boston next year. So yes, so you want to remain at the epicenter. Be one of the center, not be one of the periphery or the circumference. For those people who do geometry, you know what is circumference. Circumference is outside. The center, the epicenter is in the dot, the middle dot, the bullseye. You want to be in the bullseye. So that is, and it's also called target. A target will be the center. So you don't want to be in the periphery or a circumference person. And the way I tell you, there are two ways to get there. Make poster, submit the poster online, and be on time. Don't waste time doing that. Second, talk to people about sponsorship and exhibition. Because another thing you'll know, that if people know you are at the epicenter and you didn't tell them, you will never stop hearing about it, that you denied them the opportunity to participate. People do that all the time. They come and complain to you. Why didn't you tell us? Why did you not tell us? Why did you tell us? It's better you be telling them, I was telling you all the time, but you plugged your ears with wax. You are not hearing. Rather than them asking you, why didn't you tell us, and say, oh, I did not think it would be relevant for you. No, don't think for them what's relevant. Let them think for themselves when it's relevant. It's better they'll be telling you that you did not tell us. You say, I already told you so many times, but you did not want to listen. Okay, so to be a center person, the epicenter, is to share the love with others. Okay, as it is written, love yourself, love others as you love yourself. So if you love yourself, you want to attend the summit. Love others by telling them the opportunity that they're going to miss by not attending the summit. Love others as you love yourself. Even love your enemy. That even some people you think they're your enemy, you also want them to to benefit. That's where they become your friends. The enemy disappears. I'm telling you, these are some divine commandments. Love others as you love yourself. Loving others means that you bring to their awareness the opportunity for coming to display at the exhibition, to take opportunity to exhibit at the summit. Loving yourself is also showing up at the summit, because when you come there, when you ask them to come to exhibit, you automatically coming. And then also you make a poster presentation to participate in the Boston Summit as well. See? Yeah. Now don't be like Murkomen, who loves himself but doesn't love others. He buys very expensive watches and says, this watch of mine is about 2 million shillings. No, that is too much self-love that has no others. So you want to love others so that you can give them the opportunity to participate in the summit. Thank you so much, Glory. And I think maybe now people have completed filling the form. And over, that means see you tomorrow or another day. Thank you so much. Back to you, Glory.
Thank you, Daktari, for making it clear for everyone. I think now from today, everyone will be working on how to participate. Let's leave no one behind. Let's all take part. And thank you once again, Daktari, for making time for today's session. Thank you for, you're always committed to solve our problems. Thank you and have a good one. Thank you everyone for joining. Let's keep tuning every Thursday at a time like now from 8 to 9 p.m. Let's learn more and prepare. And that way we will prepare for our upcoming summit. So I don't think there's any other concern. Maybe once you are done filling the attendance form, you are free to leave. Bye.